Hi, everybody. Welcome into another new episode of Caton'S Corner here on CUTV. As always, I'm your host, Tom Caton. And it's been almost 3 months since I've done a show. I apologize about that, but, we were on winter break for about 6 weeks, and now we're back in classes for the spring semester for just about a month now. It's been a little busy getting reacquainted with not only a school schedule, but back in the CUTV schedule. It's nice to see that things are kind of getting back to a little bit in person. But as you can see, we're still filming the show virtually via Zoom. We all love Zoom. No, not really. But unfortunately, we're not back in the studio just yet. But I really hope we can get back in the studio if it allows it sometime before the semester is over, because my show does end here in just about 2 months. Allowing, again, if Gary lets me graduate. But as you can see, I decided to go to another corner of my room to film today. I figured y'all were probably used to seeing the Central Perk poster in the background. Now you see some of the other junk that I have in my room here. As you can see, like other various photos, if I get out of the way here, and other fun stuff, as you can see. I might make this my new spot for future shows. We'll see how that is, or maybe I'll go to another corner of my room. I haven't made up my mind yet. But speaking of the show, most of you are probably aware that we're in the middle of the farewell season because I graduate from Cal. I know Gary doesn't want to hear it, but I do graduate in May, so that's just a little over 2 months from now. We may be filming virtually from home for the time being, like I said, but hopefully maybe even for the last show, or some shows get back in the studio at least one last time before it's officially over. But also today it's a time to celebrate because it was almost a year ago at this time I celebrated the anniversary of my show, the 1-year anniversary, and now it's the 2-year anniversary of my show first premiering on CUTV. The first official show aired on February 22nd, 2019. And just like I said, we celebrated about a year ago at this time. It was right before COVID shut everything down. And I have a clip I would like to show from that very first episode, my first monologue, as we would say here in the field. But take a look at my first appearance ever on Caton'S Corner. It's a little cringeworthy for me to watch, even at times. Watch this.
Hi everybody, welcome into a brand new show here on CUTV. I'm your host, Tom Caton, and you are all tuning into the very first official episode of Caton'S Corner. It's going to be a talk show-based program here on CUTV. I'm looking forward to it. I've always been behind the scenes on CUTV, running camera or doing something else, but this is my first time taking over a show here on CUTV. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited, and it's going to be a great day.
It's crazy to think how fast 2 years goes by, but it does. And now here I am counting down the days for the final show that will be airing soon. The actual date for the final show is not scheduled yet, but I do know when it will be happening. It'll either be filmed during the last week of April or the first week of May. We get done with classes April 30th, and then finals week is the following week. So to put that in a time scale, it's about 2 months from now. Hopefully you all ride it out with me to the very end. And I promise that allowing that there's time in the CUTV schedule, which I'm pretty sure that there will be some time to get back in that groove of filming a show every 2 weeks like we used to when COVID wasn't a thing. Because I have many guests in line to come on my show before it ends. And for today's show, I have 2 incredible guests that will be appearing here in a little bit. We would consider them to be CUTV famous. I'm excited to have them on for the very first time ever. And like I said, you'll see them in just a few moments. But before we get into that, let's get into our recurring segment, which I like to call Memes of the Week. Since Valentine's Day was last week, I have some Valentine-themed memes to look at. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one here. Love is in the air. Wrong. Nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide are in the air. Let's go to the next one. Is Netflix a Valentine? Uh, and let's go to the last one. Me on the 14th of February pretending to be shocked at the flowers, roses, and chocolate outside my door that I put there. Like I said, February 15th is the real holiday because that's when all the Valentine's candy and chocolate is on sale. Those are my memes of the week. Hope you enjoyed them. There'll be more memes to see in our next installment. So we need to take a quick commercial break. Like I said, you'll have to stay tuned to see who my first guest will be. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Caton'S Corner on CUTV.
The Vulcans are back in action, and CUTV has you covered. Baseball versus Wheeling. Baseball versus Walsh. Baseball doubleheader versus Slippery Rock. Baseball doubleheader versus Mercyhurst. Baseball doubleheader versus Clarion. Baseball doubleheader versus Seton Hill. Vulcan softball doubleheader versus Gannon. Softball doubleheader versus IUP. Softball doubleheader versus Slippery Rock. Softball doubleheader versus UPJ. Softball doubleheader versus Seton Hill. Vulcan swimming dual meet versus St. Francis. Vulcan tennis match against Edinburgh. Follow all the action live on CUTV Sports 1. And for more information, check out calvulcans.com.
Have you seen the new Cal U Vulcan logo around? Have you wondered where to get gear featuring it? Then go to calvulcans.com and click shop. Log on and browse a full selection of men's shirts, women's shirts, pullovers, hoodies, and more. All items feature customization with the new Cal U Vulcan logo and wordmark. The site also features a full selection of hats, tailgating items, and accessories. Don't be the last person to sport new Cal U Vulcan gear. Go to calvulcans.com today.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. For the next couple shows, I wanted to introduce a segment of talking with some of our favorite former CUTV alumni, if that's what you want to call it. Basically, Where Are They Now special. Just think of it as an Oprah Winfrey Where Are They Now special, but it's kind of a knockoff brand. My first guest is a very good friend of mine. I believe this is her first time making an appearance on my show since having it. Everyone, please welcome the incomparable JESS CROSSON. Hi, Jess.
Hello. How you doing, Tom?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
First and foremost, hope you're doing well, staying safe down in gorgeous Miami. You're not up here in Pennsylvania.
We have it better than most right now.
So, it's crazy. I've had my show for 2 years now, and this is my very first time having you on the show. I can't believe I ever thought of doing it.
I know, I feel a little slighted, but we're here now, so.
So, for those of you who don't know Jess, first of all, how dare you? But you may remember her. You're former entertainment editor of the Cal Times. You appeared as a news anchor for CUTV News Center, president of SAB during your reign here, if I can recall. I think you graduated December 2018, correct?
Yep.
Isn't it crazy how fast 2 years goes by?
Yeah, I try to reference my college years and realize I'm starting to get close to the time that I just shouldn't be doing that anymore, I guess. And I still feel like I just graduated, but things have changed literally so much. Shout out coronavirus for that. I mean, so many like people have retired too. President Jones being a huge one, Dr. Pinardi. So it's like there's already been so many changes, and it really hasn't been that long.
You mentioned President Jones. I had the honor of interviewing her back in December before she retired. So it was one of my favorite talks.
Love her.
Just a general question: what have you been up to lately? We haven't seen each other face to face in a while.
I know. Well, I've been down here for over a year now. Well, barely over a year, but over a year nonetheless. So it's been a heck of a year to decide to pick up and move to the bottom of the country. But I mean, can't complain with the weather and everything. I've been working with Inter Miami this whole time. It's been a roller coaster, honestly, heck of a year. I feel like I keep saying that, but honestly, every situation, heck of a year to be doing anything. So starting a professional soccer team in 2020 was definitely an interesting thing to be a part of.
So talking about the Inter Miami. So if you want to explain a little bit into, I kind of know what you do a little bit, but like if you want to explain it, what do you do at your job and all that?
Sure. So Inter Miami CF, it's Club de Football, is one of the newest expansion teams in the MLS. It was us in Nashville for 2020 and 2021. We'll have Austin joining in with us as well. So for myself, I'm a group sales account executive. Now, what I do is handle the creation, ticket sales, all of that side of things, the servicing for any group outings. Now, we had a year where we didn't really get to have any types of that because we could barely have fans, let alone groups of 10 or more people, which is what qualifies for us. But I absolutely love being a groups rep. Like in a normal year, got a lot of my experience doing that at the Pittsburgh Pirates before I moved down here when I was in their inside sales program, and I just fell in love with it. I think it's a cool way to combine sales with also a bit of like my event planning background that I got through SAV and everything. So for me, it's just like figuring out like youth soccer teams, different business, corporate outings, working with nonprofits. I want to start to work a lot with frontline workers and everything, try to thank them a little bit for the craziness they've been going through. And that's pretty much what I handle. We do sell full menus. So, I mean, my main focus has honestly been selling memberships. We were pretty close to selling out again this season, which is pretty dope to be a part of, but pretty much all ticket sales and service. We're a very lean team right now. So it's pretty much all hands on deck for everything with us.
And so being down in Miami, obviously it has to be fun living down there. Like I said, you're not up here in Pennsylvania where we've gotten hit with some snow on and off. Probably Miami's the only part of the country that didn't get any snow.
Yeah, it does seem like that now. It's don't miss it. I like seeing the pictures from everyone we still have out there, but I don't miss having to scrape my car off in the morning or we're wondering if the T is going to be running with all the snow and ice and all of that stuff. So
it's also nice to know if I ever take a vacation down in Miami, I at least know one person that's down there.
Here I am. I have a coach.
So obviously the pandemic has affected so many people along with their work. It obviously had to have affected the work that you do, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone in sports and entertainment, we were probably the first hit the hardest, and we're still being hit by it. It's insane. There's so much uncertainty right now, but I mean, a lot of perseverance from every professional that I've been able to network with and everything, and seeing how every team's handling it. Like for us, like we're fortunate in a twisted way that like Florida is just like completely reopened, like it has been for a long time now. So it makes things like a little bit easier for us because we know like in some capacity, we're definitely going to be allowed to have fans. Whereas like New York, who just opened up some of their capacity for fans, Pennsylvania goes back and forth with Governor Wolf and everything. So, I mean, we've all been hit super hard.
And for anybody watching, like for where you work, do you have any advice on who might seek interest in working in a place that you work at?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing is, I mean, there's great things to get involved with at Cal. For me, like WISE Women in Sports Events was a great organization that just happened to come up my last semester, but ultimately the connections I made there helped me get in at the Pirates. So that's a phenomenal start for Cal students. It's open to both women and men. So just because it's called Women in Sports Events doesn't mean men can't join. The networking's phenomenal. And just getting involved, put your name out there. Now's a perfect time. I can't tell you how many students I've talked to throughout this whole process, just like asking me what I do. Like I'm more than happy to always try to help and be a reference and connect people. It's a super competitive field. Of course, it's sports. Everyone thinks it's the most glamorous thing to work in. Newsflash, it's not going to always be glamorous. Like I know it sounds super cool and everyone thinks that, but like it is a grind. If this year's taught us anything, like any glamour that you had before, it just was completely cut this year. And if you're still here, God bless that we're getting through this together. But yeah, I mean, the jobs are there though. Like teams are starting to come back. They're hiring, even in sales, even in things that were deemed to be cut first during the pandemic. So Teamwork Online, great resource. I would recommend networking directly with people in those positions, whether on LinkedIn, if you can find their email from the front office page, all of that type of stuff. Just always approach it with the utmost professionalism. is what I recommend. Like, remember, like, their time's just as valuable as yours, if not a little bit more right now, because things are crazy. A lot of teams are small, but a lot of us are still really, really willing to help out. And we know it's a very uncertain time for students just as much as it is for us right now.
And so I saw about a month ago, you attended a virtual taping of the Ellen DeGeneres show. You're in the virtual audience, and because I saw it on your story, and then I had to go see for myself, and I saw you, and I'm a little jealous that you got on Ellen before I did. But what was that experience like to be a virtual audience member?
It was so weird to like be a part of it. It was so much fun, but like, you're literally like, it's kind of like what we're doing now. Like, I'm sitting in my bedroom, like on my laptop, and like you have to like have headphones in while you do it. But like, I don't know like what like my boyfriend who was out in the living room at the time was thinking, because I'm like, woo, like clapping and everything, like quietly in my room, but like you're on cue to do all that stuff, and like they're cutting you in and out of commercial breaks. So it was a lot of fun. Twitch was my host, and I love him from like the Step Up movies, and then also I follow him on TikTok. So I was pumped for him. And then like Jessica Alba was a guest appearance. They had a really cool story of a couple with a bookstore as well that was doing a lot of good out in their community. So it was super fun to be a part of. It was super weird. I'll send you the link to apply to be on it. I have a friend that I used to work with at the Pirates, and she actually told me about it when she was on it. And then I even have another friend who's done it since, Bree. She was an SAB with me. So it's like, it's just funny, but like, yeah, I'll shoot you the link. I just applied for every open date, and I hope that I got one, and then I did. So it was pretty cool.
I say, because I took the liberty of taking a picture. I tried to do a video. I don't know, it just wasn't working or something, but I took a picture. You'll see it on the screen. The little red circle indicates you in the upper right corner, as you can see.
Yeah, my 6 dance moves that portrayed for all of Ellen's viewers. It's pretty dope. Wasn't embarrassing at all.
But I would say, like, things have just changed, because you see I'm still doing my show remotely for the time being. Hopefully sometime soon get back in the studio before I graduate. But yeah, that's just how it's going to be for a little bit. But before we wrap up, any final words or anything you'd like to say?
Super excited to finally been on your show. Thank God we got it in before you graduated, because you're old now and you're going to be leaving CUTV. I'm not going to know like anyone left besides Gary. So congrats to a successful CUTV time here, Tom, and everything else that you've done. But super excited to be here, and thank you here for all of your little fun tidbits through Snap when we talk now and then.
Thank you very much. I know it's the farewell season, so yeah, I had to get some of my favorite people back on here, even if it is over Zoom. But I know we need to go to a quick commercial break, but I think you'll stick around for later on after the show. I have a game coming up near the end of the show. A lot of fun. I think you'll stick around for it. It's going to be fun. But yes, we need to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're watching Caton'S Corner on CUTV.
The new Guardians of Wrestling are back in action on CUTV with new faces and returning fan favorites like Gus the Gardener and Joshua Kavod. And for the first time in a decade, the return of Jay Rue on CUTV and many more with hard-hitting action, exciting matchups, and coming soon, the rise of Antebellum, where every match is a cage match. Don't miss legit American wrestling on CUTV.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm very excited for my next guest because this is also his very first appearance on my show as well. I'm beyond excited to see him again, and if you were a communications major, you ever took a class with him, you know how much fun he can be. Everyone please welcome Mr. Jim Carter. Hi, Mr. Carter.
Hi, Tom. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
I was gonna say, it's so good to see you, even if we are talking through Zoom. But how have you been? Long time no see.
We're doing well. Well, last February I had a little bit of a issue. I had open heart surgery last February. I had a double bypass, but I've recovered quite well from that, and so yeah, we were able. I was well enough to be able to do some traveling this past year. We did camping, so we were outdoors to avoid being around people. We camped we camped every month, June through October, and all of them in state parks in Pennsylvania, except the last trip we went barely into New York to Lake Erie State Park.
Yeah.
So, kept us busy, but the winter's been a little less exciting.
I say winter's never exciting, but I say, first of all, it's good to see that you're doing well. I think the last time we saw each other in person was at your retirement party almost 2 years ago. If I can
Well, is
recall.
it that long?
June 2019, before COVID was a thing.
Yeah.
But so you, like I said, you retired almost 2 years ago. Do you miss teaching at all?
I miss being with the students. I don't miss the bureaucracy around teaching. It's the devil we have to deal with in order to be able to do the part we like.
I can't believe I totally forgot to mention this. I see one of your fashion statements, your ever famous tropical shirts, or flamingo.
I made certain I put one on.
And your headset looks like you're about ready to play a video game too.
It's easier to keep outside noises out this way.
That's like me. If you hear my dog barking in the background, the mailman hasn't come yet, then he goes crazy. But so I think I can remember. But when did you first start teaching at CalU?
Fall of 1990.
And so you taught for 29 years before you retired. I tried asking why not go one more year for an even 30.
Well, I thought about it, but financially I was able to do it, and there was a little bit of writing on the wall with the things changing drastically at Cal. So I thought it was best to get out while the getting was good. Pardon me.
But given the unprecedented times we're currently facing, do you feel like that you retired at the right time?
Well, yeah, I I haven't really spent the time as I expected. Sorry, but it's with all the issues, I'm happy that I don't have to go out of the house every day.
Do you think you could still teach via Zoom, or no? Is this your first time on Zoom?
Oh no, I've been on Zoom. Actually, I took in the last 2 months. I took a couple of Zoom classes, one day workshops. One was in artisan bread baking, and the other one was in croissant making. So I see how it works, and I think I could do it if I had to. Although most of the classes I taught, it would not be conducive. Trying to teach someone how to deal with cameras and lighting via Zoom seems difficult to me.
Right. That's like some people with their majors. Like some classes are in person for this semester, but as you can see, I'm home. But yeah, it's hard to teach some things via Zoom than rather in person. But you're talking about your bread making. I see you post on Facebook a lot of the breads you make. Do you have a favorite kind that you like to make?
The one that's most recently made.
I remember you were still teaching the one class, like for finals week, you bring in snacks and that. I suggested that you bring in bread, and everyone else was like, "Why bring in bread?" But when you did, they loved it, and I was like, "I told you so."
Yeah.
So now, living the retired lifestyle, do you find retirement fun at all?
The ability to go camping during the week in September and October was nice because the campgrounds are less crowded. But we are with the COVID outbreak, we are so limited on what we can do. I kind of wanted to go to Florida this winter to get away from this crap, but it seemed ill-advised. So there are parts of it that are very advantageous, and parts that, because of the current conditions, I can't do what I want.
I was like, last year, we tried to take a family vacation every year, but we had to cancel because of COVID. But near the end of October, almost around Halloween, my family and I went down to Myrtle Beach, and it was like 80 degrees. Well, it was 40 degrees up here in Pennsylvania, and me and my sister out in the ocean, literally at the end of October, and everyone, and we saw up here, it was almost, we came back to like 30 degrees and snowing. So yeah, I need to get out of Pennsylvania. But so probably your daily routine with the pandemic going on, it's probably, you don't, like you said, you don't get out much like you probably were used to able to.
Yeah, the two highlights of my day are my my exercise routine on my exercise cycle and lifting weights, and then preparing dinner.
You got to throw in preparing bread too, if that's a thing.
Well, yeah, that's not an everyday thing.
Not an everyday thing.
Yeah.
But do you ever think of like those, what I refer to them as like retirement stereotypes? Do you think of like moving to Florida or anything like that?
I'd be more inclined to be a snowbird and doing it in the winter, but not throughout the year. I mean, I like the spring, summer, and fall here in Pennsylvania. It's just the winter that gets a little difficult.
It's like me trying to get down to work, I'll have to call off because I live up on a steep hill, and sometimes they don't plow our roads, and I try to call off, and they're like, "You can still come in." I'm like, "I can't." That's the only thing. I don't mind a little bit of snow, but what's been happening lately, it'll snow, then it'll melt, but then we'll get another 10 inches like the next day or something, and I'm tired of it. But before we wrap up, any final words or comments you'd like to say?
Well, I do want to wish you success after graduation, and hope you get to do what you'd like to do.
Thank you. Well, we got to remember, if Gary lets me graduate, that's the big factor. But thank you again, Mr. Carter, even though I'm always going to refer to you as Mr. Carter from here on out. But thanks for stopping by. I know we need to take another quick commercial break. You'll stick around for the game. Jess will come back, revisit us, and play the game. So yeah, let's take another commercial break, and when we come back, I'm gonna put my guests in the hot seat with a few burning questions. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
The Vulcans are back in action, and CUTV has you covered. Baseball versus Wheeling. Baseball versus Walsh. Baseball doubleheader versus Slippery Rock. Baseball doubleheader versus Mercyhurst. Baseball doubleheader versus Clarion. Baseball doubleheader versus Seton Hill. Vulcan softball doubleheader versus Gannon. Softball doubleheader versus IUP. Softball doubleheader versus Slippery Rock. Softball doubleheader versus UPJ. Softball doubleheader versus Seton Hill. Vulcan swimming dual meet versus St. Francis. Vulcan tennis match against Edinburgh. Follow all the action live on CUTV Sports 1. And for more information, check out calvulcans.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined by my two guests from today's show, Jess and Mr. Carter. It's time to play a game, and I usually always play a game towards the end. This game has really become, say, a little bit of an icon on my show. As I like to call, it's time to turn off the heat and play Tom's Burning Questions. So basically, I'm just going to ask a series of completely random and a little bit useless rapid-fire questions. And I just have to answer honestly or with the first answer that comes to mind. Rules are pretty simple, and I always win at the end by default because it's my show. So I was asking whoever wants to answer first. First one, let's see my lovely card here. If you can't sleep in the middle of the night, what do you do?
Watch TV.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'll watch TV and take some melatonin.
That's me, either watch TV or be on my phone, but which is a bad thing because then I won't get to sleep at all. They say that blue light messes with your eyes. So, all right. Next one. What is your favorite TV show or shows?
Law and Order reruns, the original series.
That's really funny because my favorite show is Law and Order SVU.
For anybody that knows me, a huge fan of Friends and Golden Girls. As you can see in the background, my Friends and Golden Girls Funko Pops that are on my shelves back here. I would say before you could see my Central Perk poster, but now I'm in another corner of my room this time. So, all right, next one. How did you spend Valentine's Day this year?
Just staying home.
Well, I live in Florida, so we can do whatever we want here. And we went to a brunch and had some bottomless mimosas, way too many, and so we just had a day.
Sounds like a good time. I know I spent it sad and lonely again, but I made up for it with the next day because all the chocolate was 50% off. That's the real holiday, February 15th. That's the real holiday. All right, next question. Favorite streaming service?
Oh.
I would have to say Hulu is probably mine because that's where the Golden Girls is at.
Netflix is the only one I have.
Yeah, I like Hulu because I don't have cable, so I can watch my shows that are on TV, but Netflix has the best originals. So those are mine too.
What I would say about Netflix, I feel like just with the horror movies, they need some better horror movies. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
like,
I'm always looking for a good horror movie, and I just can't seem to find it on Netflix.
Right. I was like, I'm trying to find one, and I get like halfway into it, and I'm like, this isn't even good. Sorry, Netflix, if you're watching, but I can't. But all right. Next question. If you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you'd purchase?
I would simply pay off all of my debt. So that's all I have my eye on right now.
That was my first answer, but then I love dogs. I'd go and adopt every single dog that I could, but I'd have to buy, and obviously I'd have to buy a big house for them too.
Right.
Yeah, I would be going with a big house.
And then last one. What's your favorite designer brand?
Design?
I don't have one.
I was like, I don't think I'm bougie enough to have a favorite designer brand.
Y'all don't fall under me. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I'm just an old hippie.
Yeah, you'd fit into Miami way too well, Tom.
I was saying, everyone knows me. I have all my designer stuff I have. But, all right. Well, yes, that's how you play Tom's Burning Questions. Again, I'd like to thank my guests, Jess and Mr. Carter, for being here today. Both of you are welcome back anytime. But there's only 2 months left until my show ends. So if you want to come back again, we'll have to make it quick.
The audacity.
But also, I'd like to thank our beloved CTV director, Gary Smith, for helping me out with everything. Hopefully I can be back in another 2 weeks for another show, allowing that there's time in the schedule. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe and watch all of our new content that's posted on our YouTube page. CUTV Sports 1. I believe we are done here for the day. Again, Mr. Carter, Jess, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you had fun.
Thank you, always.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we are done here for the day. We got to get out of here. Wear a mask. Keep your hands clean. And we'll see you on the next episode of Caton'S Corner. Bye, everybody.